All right, Mr. Stone. My question to you is,
Hmm.
if you take education for young black students in the '90s,
Hmm.
in the '80s, and you compare them to the 2000s and up until now, 2015, what would you say the main difference is, and has it changed for good or for bad or worse?
Well, it's some good and some worse. The good part is that you have more people who are technologically literate. People who know how to use a computer. People who know how to communicate on the computer. Um, that was unheard of when I was going through school. The worst part is that the education that we're receiving in the public school is not adequate because there's no control almost in so many public schools. As you know, you have students today who are fist fighting teachers. We have to do something about that because if we don't, we're going to get to a point where they're going to close down every public school. We already know that they're closing down public schools in Philadelphia and in Chicago, and they're closing them down in large numbers. So they're not increasing the number of schools. They're not increasing the quality of the schools. Everything is going backwards. So we're in a state of emergency now in terms of education. And we've been in a state of emergency for a long time. So right now I can say it's getting worse because there's no one addressing these issues on a realistic basis. Everything is cut this and cut that. We're cutting programs, but we're not introducing programs that work. And to add to that, the programs that we know work don't get funded. The programs we know work don't get continued. So that's something that I would work on changing in the high schools. So since we don't get that, then I have to put out a video like this to show people how to work on their weaknesses because they're not going to get the help that they need in public schools like white children get and like other children get. So we have to do these things on our own.
So pretty much we're set up for
What I'm trying to
failure.
do with the video is to set up for God. Everything in America is sets black people up for failure. There's not too many things that you can point to in America that'll set you up for success, unless it's basketball or football. Other than that, there's not too many things that are set up for black people to succeed, unless you're paying for a private school. Some of the charter schools are good, but there's very few things in America that are set up for us to succeed. So that we have to find alternative ways of doing things so our children can succeed. And one of those things is for me, putting out a video like this. Getting back on point to some of the things I think that parents need to know. Going back to, and I can't put enough emphasis on writing. Not just writing, but how to do research papers, note-taking skills. If your child's having a problem with those things, or some of that problem, just hire a tutor. But he should be prepared to know how to do these things before they get to college. And if they don't, then they're going to be at a distinct disadvantage to other students who are in college. What we have to remember is that we're not competing against other black students, we're competing against white students who have had the best tutoring, who have had the best education. We have to compete with them the same way we compete in football, in basketball. We have to learn how to compete intellectually. You stay up night and day shooting that basketball so we can compete against other people. We got to stay up night and day studying to compete with other people academically.
Now you made a good point when you said that that we have to compete, but we also stated earlier that everything is set up for failure. So some black students may say, no matter how hard I try, no matter if I'm better than this white person, they're still going to have that advantage over me because of skin.
Well, that's a cop-out. And that's a cop-out because they have an advantage over you selling drugs. So when you sell drugs, you're not making the money that white folks make. So when you rob a house, you're not making the same amount of money white folks make. And you're going to get more time served in jail. So it's pick your poison. I'd rather pick the poison, or I'd rather pick the thing that I have the most likely chance to succeed in, and that's going to school. You know what I'm saying? So it's the game is the dice are loaded no matter what you do or what game you play. But you have a greater chance of having success in life going to school than doing illegal activity, because they can't wait to lock you up when you do illegal activity. So the dice are loaded against you both ways, but you have a greater chance to succeed by going to school and getting an education. Learn how to write. Learn how to put your words on paper. Learn how to do research. Learn how to do footnotes, references. Know your resources. Don't plagiarize, and that's one of the main things. Never plagiarize. And once you master the research and the writing skills, you can submit your work to magazines. You can write books. You can put out groundbreaking information about how to save other people in the hood. There are things that you can do to make a significant contribution to the neighborhood. If you're a scientist, your job can be studying Chinese food at these takeout places and find out what's in it. Who is studying or researching what we're putting in our bodies? Those are things that people do who are independent, who are strong, and who have control of their own destiny. Who's determining what Mark Liquor does? We're waiting for research from people who don't care about us. The people who put the research out about what's good and bad for us are people who don't care about us. So these are all things that you can do and you create your own. You create your own road to success. You create your own niche in terms of expertise. That's what education's for. You don't just have to graduate and work at a corporation. You can do that and also use your skills to help out the community. Because if we don't do it, who's going to do it? Who's going to do it?
Correct.
If you're having a problem in school, transfer to another school. Just don't quit. If you're at a white school and you're discouraged and they convinced you that you're not intelligent, try a historic black college and see how that works for you. Try another school that has a high graduation rate of African American students. Try another school that has support systems that you might not have at the school that you're not doing well in. These are things to think about before dropping out of school. Just don't quit. To help with stress, attend social events, but don't party too much. Be responsible, attend classes, and complete assignments on time. You just can't say that the school you went to was racist and you never completed assignments on time. You never put the effort out to study. Or you didn't do the things, you didn't use your money to get a tutor, you used your money to have parties. So do everything that you can to make sure that you're a better student at the end of the day.